Hey there viewers, you are tuned to your favorite channel and we're back again here with amazing facts. Deals are always looked at from the perspective of the team. The entire goal is to land impactful players and stars at below market values. Front offices are lauded when they unearth gems on the cheap and crucified when they dole out overpays or, in some cases, even fair deals. At the center of every bargain though, there are players who make less than he's worth. And today, we'll have a look at 10 of such players in recent NBA history. This happens for a number of reasons. Certain players are so valuable that they cannot be properly paid. Others throughout history have seen their contracts progress into chump change as the salary cap rises. Some go kaboom and transform into an entirely different player after already signing a long-term deal. So the seasonal fluctuation is seen more often. Let's begin our list of the 10 most underpaid NBA players ever. But before we proceed further, if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, do hit the subscribe button so that you won't be missing out on any future content. Number 10. Chauncey Billups. With a contract of 5 years and earnings of $27.2 million, 25-year-old Chauncey Billups low-key signed one of the team's friendliest deals in NBA history during 2002 free agency. Fresh off a three-game playoff detonation with the Minnesota Timberwolves, who remained committed to Terrell Brandon, the Detroit Pistons scooped him up for 5 years with the mid-level exception. Suffice it to say, they won that negotiation. Billups averaged 17 points and 6.3 assists over the next 5 years, while draining more three-pointers than anyone else in the league, and earning the moniker Mr. Big Shot. While he was never mentioned in the same breath as many other marquee names of the time, he had that star quality. He was voted the 2004 Finals MVP, made 2 All-Star appearances, and received 2 All-Defense and All-NBA nods on this contract alone. Salary cap infusions aren't skewing these numbers. Billups held a relatively steady position between 105 and 130 for 5 years. His contract only aged into a bargain because he drastically outperformed his pay grade. Next up on the list, number 9. Stephen Curry. A period of 4 years and earning reached of $44 million, Stephen Curry's 2012 extension is essentially the origin of the Golden State Warriors dynasty. They don't reach the pinnacle of basketball without him, and they most certainly don't land Kevin Durant in 2016 free agency if he's not playing at a cut rate. Granted, Curry's 4-year deal wasn't viewed through this lens in real time. Far from it. A right ankle injury limited him to 26 appearances the season before, and for all the offensive pizzazz he'd shown, no one ticketed him for MVP contention. Both of Curry's MVP awards came under this deal. In 2015-16, when he became the first unanimous winner in NBA history and led the Warriors to a best-ever 73-9 regular season record. Moving on to number 8. Draymond Green. Second-round draft picks never snag lucrative deals right off the bat. They also almost never turn into superstars and championship linchpins. Draymond Green's apex came after his 3-year pennies on the dollar contract ended. He didn't make his first All-Star appearance until 2016, and his Defensive Player of the Year award came in 2016-17. Big whoop. Green was a mainstay in the Golden State Warriors rotation as a rookie, and an even more prominent contributor in 2013-14 as a sophomore. David Lee's hamstring injury then opened the door for him to assume a larger role in 2014-15. Green never gave it back. The level at which he played during the Warriors' first championship run is enough to qualify him for this list on its own. He shouldered a lot more of the playmaking responsibility, anchored the league's best defense, and just generally thrived amid Golden State's model of contrived chaos. Who knows whether they come back from a 2-1 deficit to win that title? Even before Green officially became a star, he was something of a championship barometer, all while making peanuts, and a figure earning of $26 million. Number 7. Nikola Jokic. Earning of $4.1 million in a period of 3 years, Nikola Jokic's rise up the NBA ranks was met with a unique, far-flung level of resistance. Just as it took too long for the Denver Nuggets to recognize the future ran through him, it was quite a while before he became a consensus superstar. Was it because he was drafted in the second round, didn't play in a glamour market, wasn't built like an Adonis. Eventually, though, Jokic achieved consensus recognition. It wasn't the cleanest arrival. His place among the biggest names is subject to debate even now. The conversation has just changed. Is he a top 7 player, rather than is he a star? But the Nuggets were so certain in his value they declined the 4th year of ultra-cheap team control to re-sign him as a restricted free agent in 2018. He was comfortably a top 20 player by the time he wrapped up his first contract. Let's have a look at some other players on the list too. Number 6. John Starks. John Starks' salary never quite aligned with his on-court value. That was unavoidable on some level given his career arc. He wasn't drafted, didn't stick with the Golden State Warriors, and spent a year playing abroad before signing a deal with the New York Knicks in 1990. Starks was never the most consistent or anything close to a superstar, but damn, he still worked his butt off defensively and could shift the tenor of an entire game or series when he was feeling it on offense. New York would later beef up his pay grade with a 3-year, $13.1 million extension that eventually devolved into a net negative asset. Number 5. Isaiah Thomas. Feel free to throw in Isaiah Thomas's first contract after getting drafted 60th overall in 2011. The Sacramento Kings picked him up for 3 years and $2.1 million, a criminally low number. But it was on his second contract that Thomas broke through the star barrier. He ended up with the Phoenix Suns to start 2014-15 via a sign and trade, and was sent to the Boston Celtics that February. The rest is quite literally history. Over the first 3 seasons of Thomas's contract, he was one of just 3 players who cleared 22 points and 5 assists per game, while shooting 37% or better from downtown. The other 2, Stephen Curry and Kyrie Irving. Others might refrain from calling Thomas an all-time bargain when hip injuries and a trade to Cleveland derailed his 2017-18 season and marked the beginning of an ongoing downturn. But that sudden spiral isn't a good enough excuse to exclude him. He spent most of a bench player's contract as one of the NBA's most potent offensive weapons. That deal, and really his entire career, is nothing if not a heinous bargain. Number 4. Kemba Walker. Kemba Walker's 2014 extension turned more than the occasional head. It felt at the time more like a flat-out overpay than a calculated gamble. Whereas Stephen Curry hinted at stardom before his deal, a similarly priced 4-year, $44 million pact signed in 2012, Walker profiled as a more combustible investment. His clutch gene and handles could carry a team only so far when paired with an erratic jumper and finite range. Put it this way, Walker earned 3 All-Star selections and 1 All-NBA bid on a contract that by the end wasn't even paying him a top 110 salary. Number 3. Ben Wallace. Ben Wallace's 6-year deal with the Detroit Pistons doesn't get the bargain bin treatment it deserves. Why? Your guess is as good as mine. People don't seem to care as much about non-scorers. He never averaged 10 points per game, and he did go on to sign one of the less flattering contracts in recent history, 4-year, $60 million agreement with the Chicago Bulls during 2006 free agency. With respect to Chauncey Billups and Richard Hamilton, Wallace was also the closest that 2003-04 championship Pistons squad came to having a household name, as both the face and basis for their relentless defense. Yet he was never truly paid like it. He only ranked inside the top 75 of salary twice and never came close to sniffing the top 50. Long-term contracts are indentured to the march of time. So many bargains are gradual. Wallace, though, was underpaid almost immediately after he signed his. Moving on to number 2. Scotty Pippen. Scotty Pippen's second contract with the Chicago Bulls is the billboard for all-time bargains following ESPN's The Last Dance documentary. It also remains a little complicated. By 1993 to 94, when he finished 3rd on the MVP ballot, he ranked 26th in individual salary. Things only worsened from there as the NBA evolved into a money-making monolith. When his contract ended in 97-98, there were 121 players earning more than him, including 5 on his own team. Last but not least, the famous of all, number 1, Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan is not a player who could ever be properly paid. Even at the height of his earnings, $33.1 million in 1997-98, he was on a below-market deal. His value, both on and off the court, transcended every imaginable pay scale. Still, the 8-year, $25 million pact he signed in 1988 became particularly off-the-wall cheap. Sure, it was more standard when he first put pen to paper. Only David Robertson made more than him by the 92-93 season, but that didn't hold for long. The fate changed soon. The stat chart may change afterwards in the ongoing years, but these players are surely unpaid at the time. We just mentioned when they even gave their best of all. Hope you guys have enjoyed the video. Thumbs up if you liked it. And do hit that subscribe button so that you won't be missing out on any interesting videos from now on.